Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Blue Egg 200 from virtual Iowa Speedway here for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series on the Elite Racing Network. My name is David Westergreen. I am joined tonight, as always, by Zach Evans, my co-announcer. Sam Boutwell is on race control, and we have Dave Huckleberry producing tonight. And as we go around this 0.9 mile, call it a short track, call it an intermediate, whatever it is, Zach, this track eats tires. It's been rescanned since the last time we drove the Belly Up Sports Cup Series cars here. Take us through some of the challenges these guys are going to face tonight.
Boy, how much time do you have? We have the added horsepower with the short track package this season. We have the rescan, as you mentioned. Tire wear is going to be very high. Track temp, very high. Other than that, I think it should be a nice leisurely Wednesday evening drive.
Leisurely isn't exactly the way I would suggest it. I think these guys are going to be hounding one another for grip, for tire wear, for all manner of track position to try and get in front of each other. It's going to be a wild one tonight. But let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup as qualifying has just ended and everybody is getting on the grid. The 4D Racewear Pole Award winner is Daniel Fulkingham, the points leader thus far this season and last week's winner. He'll be alongside Gavin Hibbs. Nate Stewart will start third. Alongside him will be Blake Reynolds in fourth, race winner, two race winners this season. Ryan Gable, second at the Brickyard P5. Daniel Gore, second last week at Bristol, will start in sixth. Scott Crump will be flanked by Ethan Burrell as Crump makes his return after being suspended last week. P9 is Matthew Weeks, two-time champ, and P10 is Trey Eidson with a good qualifying run to get the open car into the field for Shift Esports. 11th will be Johnny Thomas, and 12th starter tonight is Jared Rexing for Do Good Motorsports.
Pair of Channel 199 cars on row 7, Ethan Stanley and Josh Chin will line up there. Brent Jones qualifying 15th. He'll be joined on row 8 by Ty McIntosh in the 10 car. After that, Jeff Green starting 17th. Ryan Borges lines up in the 18th position. Ray Bracey qualifying 19th. Randy Yoakum will be to his outside on the 10th row. Trey Holmes will start in the 21st position. Jaden Racimus in the Abbott Motorsports 1 car to his outside. Hunter Smith and Gavin Higgins will make up the 12th row in tonight's grid.
Justin Vandermarl will start 25th for Fueled Up Racing. Alongside him will be the boss at Shift Esports, Seth Rawls. Paul Mikolajczyk will go from 27th starting spot. Alongside him will be Jonathan Cutlip, an uncharacteristic poor qualifying effort from driver 5 for Fueled Up. Chad Frankenfield, the boss, will go from 29th on the grid. He'll be flanked by Gilberto Javier Gomera in 30th. It's Dusty Dewar starting 31st. Alongside him will be Garrison Hogan for Channel 199 in 32nd. 33rd will be David Tooker, making his return after missing a couple of weeks, and alongside him will be Josh Adams in 34th. 35th will be Corey Abbott in the 21 car, and Kurt Gibson will be alongside him in 35th.
Andrew Rucker setting the 37th fastest time in qualifying. It's Jared Campbell, 38th. Mike Goodman, 39th. Harrison Talon, 40th. Ryan Schild, 41st. Michael Hosak, 42nd. Carlos Acosta is qualified 43rd. Mark Rebelis will not start the race. Him, Andrew Rucker, Rob Mooney, open cars, not qualifying for the field. Jesse Racimus hit the wall twice on his qualifying attempt, so he will be starting from the rear, thanks to his charter.
3 additional EOLs handed out due to tallies accrued. One will be Justin Vandermarl after binning it a couple of times last week. Scott Crump after the misfortunes the last couple of weeks for that 90 car. He will go to the back to start this race. 200 laps around this about a mile long speedway. These guys we will award stage points at lap 65 here in the Blue Egg 200, and we'll see if these guys can't keep it green. If they do, they'll be pitting maybe every 50 laps, maybe even shorter than that. Pace car is off. Field heads down towards the restart zone, and we are green flag racing here from Iowa. Daniel Falkingham and Gavin Hibbs side by side for the race lead and into turn one for the first time tonight. Already Falkingham clear to the lead over Hibbs. Nate Stewart settles into third. Ryan Gable will bypass Blake Reynolds and settle into fourth. It'll be Daniel Gore behind Reynolds. Matthew Weeks and Ethan Burrell side by side for that eighth position just behind.
Didn't catch who that was.
Nor did I. It's like everybody's managed to keep it orderly and sorted out. A couple of different side-by-side battles. Might have been Randy Yoakum, I think, in the 08 car. He's the one tumbling back through the field right now. He's running that high lane. And Zach, we can see the repave on our new scan of this sim. I don't think you want to exit that fresh asphalt. If you do, I think the car will become quite unsettled.
An odd thing in the pavement sprint cars I've been known to run occasionally, there is a surprising amount of grip outside of that on that old pavement. Not the case with the stock cars. Not so much. Mm-hmm. We've seen it in real life. We have seen it so far in practice and early on in the race tonight. I don't think you want to be up there this early in the run.
No, and I also think we're seeing some guys play some strategy. Blake Reynolds and Nate Stewart both have backed off early in this run. They are planning to try and run long, try to find track position out of saving their tires over the course of a long green flag run, and both of them have backed up a couple of spots. Stewart lost third to Gable, lost fourth to Daniel Gore. Here comes Ethan Burrell for fifth. Blake Reynolds back there has not pushed it either to start this race. And Zach, the numbers I was getting for the tire wear was like 45, 50 laps maybe. I mean, that we won't even make it to stage one before these guys have to pit due to tire wear, and that includes getting flat tires and having to come down pit road to serve a meatball penalty.
That's going to be a huge challenge. And also with that repave, I mean, like you were talking about, Iowa before the repave was one of those tracks you could run up against the fence, you could run down at the bottom, you could run multiple different lanes. You could see everybody just scratching and clawing to stay in that fresh pavement. And a lot of guys, whether they're saving tires or not, are just kind of trapped all in a bubble right now in the mid-pack as we go on board with the leader, Daniel Falkingham. And you could see the difference there between this repave that came in right before the NASCAR Cup Series started coming to Iowa Speedway a couple of years ago in the lower lanes of the corners. And let me tell you, if you're not in this darker area of the racetrack, it's bumpy, there's less grip. It's just a very challenging surface, which was why we kind of liked it as drivers before it got repaved, to be honest.
Yeah, there was a big bump down there in turn 1 and 2. You notice when Falkingham drove through there, pretty smooth, right? We talked about the bumps last week at the Bristol Dirt Race, but one of my favorite parts about Iowa was being able to change lanes, find your way around that bump, and find your way into the best way to keep your speed up on that corner exit through turns 1 and 2. Now it looks like the fast way kind of on the bottom. I think you can probably run the middle lane. They paved enough that you're not completely limited. You can go side by side and make passes, which I think is at least a blessing on that front. But since this is our first time getting a chance to talk about this Iowa Speedway repave, even though it happened over a year ago at this point, it's worth noting that there is some space to make those passes. There is some space to find your way around somebody. Here's a battle on the racetrack right here as we jump back into that with Trey Eitzen going around Nate Stewart. And Zach, I am seeing Nate Stewart and Blake Reynolds extremely off pace considering their skill level. I think they are planning to try to take this first stint long, make up time where they might even have to like not make a pit stop, one extra pit stop.
Well, during the practice, Blake Reynolds shared in the driver chat, never mind, we have a caution.
And that's going to be the negative potential towards the strategy of saving tires and trying not to mix it up. And it is going to be Kurt Gibson.
So, yeah, I think I think everybody just got a little crossed up there. Around the same time, Corey Abbott was setting up a pass on Ryan Schold. Ryan Schold was setting up a pass on Kurt Gibson. They ended up 3 wide, probably without any intention of going 3 wide, and then there was contact made, and Gibson gets the worst of it in the 88 car.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Kurt Gibson. It'll start him off on the back foot. You'll see Scott Crump there in 42nd. He has not moved forward since the drop of the green flag. In all likelihood, an intentional move from that 90 car to try to save the tires and again be there at the end, potentially cutting out a pit stop from the mid portion of the race. I think we have 5 sets of tires in the pits, Dave. Do we have the graphic?
5 in the pits. 5 in the pits, yes.
5 in the pits, 4 on the car, or 1 set on the car. So 6 total. You can run about 30 laps, 25, 30 laps on a set, but pitting here would potentially put you
I do
behind
not want
the 8 ball.
Yeah, it's too early. It's too early, I'm afraid.
Now I would say, and if I was maybe outside the top 10 or maybe even the top 20, maybe if I was Scott Crump potentially, what I would do is I would come down here, throw on a new set. Obviously, you'd be down a set. But what I would also do is be able to go to that stage on these tires without worrying about a blowout or anything. It would give me a chance to grab some stage points because in all likelihood, a lot of people in front of me are going to have to go down pit road due to the tire wear. I might make that gamble. Now I haven't seen anybody come down pit road this time. I mean, it's been pretty deserted down there.
I think everybody's just very concerned about that tire wears. Now we will see. That's Carlos. That doesn't look like it. No, it looked. Did he miss? I don't know what's going on there.
He missed it. He was the very last box. He needed to be hard left there.
Yeah.
So
he is changing tires.
Yeah, Carlos making a run for it, and he was way in the back. Why not make a run for it if you're in Carlos's position? You know, it'll give you a little bit of an advantage here at the beginning of the run, but then also you might even get up into the stage points if you're Carlos Acosta here, and you can go all the way. As this lap 11 incident was deemed a racing deal by race control Sam Boutwell. I think I agree with that. A bunch of guys kind of all converging for one spot entering turn 1. So as we rack up to go 1 to green here, lights are off on the pace car, and Daniel Falkingham continues to lead this race as he led the end of last week's race at Bristol Dirt and the end of the Brickyard 400. So Falkingham's won a couple of races in a row. Gavin Hibbs to his outside, his primary challenger, as has been the theme of the season thus far. It's been Falkingham and Hibbs at the front in the majority of these races. Ryan Gable will restart 3rd. Daniel Gore is up to 4th. Jared Rexing will restart in 5th. Alongside him will be Ethan Burrell in 6th. Matthew Weeks will restart 7th. Josh Chin 8th. Trey Eidson 9th. Jeff Green in 10th. Nate Stewart's back in 11th. He and Blake Reynolds, who is back in 14th, were really dropping back on the opening stint. I imagine those two are doing that intentionally to save those tires, as we've mentioned. Pace car heads down pit road. Daniel Falkingham heading towards that restart zone for the second time today. We are racing once again. Falkingham with a great start. Rexing with a bit of a bobble. He swings out of line. It opens the middle for Matthew Weeks. Weeks does not take advantage. Instead, files in behind Jared Rexing. And Daniel Gore stacks up the bottom lane a little bit there. Ethan Burrell surges past on the outside. Everybody able to keep it straight. But Gore loses several spots here on the restart, and it's Falkingham, Hibbs, Gable, Burrell, and now Josh Chin driving around the 69.
Brent Jones is
crash.
Brent Jones is around. Jonathan Cutlip has been collected. This is on right by the start-finish line.
I think Trey Holmes got a piece of Jonathan Cutlip on the way by as well. And, oh, man, this is the problem, right? If you did get tires, if you did run the Carlos Acosta strategy or the Nate Stewart, Blake Reynolds strategy, if the caution keeps coming out, it kind of ruins your advantage. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be Dusty Dewar.
Yeah.
Gets up and gets into a Brent Jones in the left rear. Jonathan Cutlip gets a piece of him. Garrison Hogan, I think, might have actually dodged Jonathan Cutlip. Then Trey Holmes is going to run into that 5 car. we talked about Jonathan Cutlip's poor qualifying effort. And that is kind of what happens when you do put your car back into the middle of the field, is you end up at risk for getting involved in these wrecks that are not of your undoing, of course. Ooh, Carlos Acosta through the grass.
That's one way to do it.
So why don't we take a quick commercial break, get our bills paid, and then we'll be back for the rest of the Blue Egg 200 here at Iowa.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Detroit, Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
This is Bobby Bolin from Tom Bolin Ford, and I have huge news for you. Right now, we are offering interest rates as low as 3.99 on most of our used cars. That's right, 3.99 happening right now. And it gets even better. These used vehicles come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty, giving you protection for the long haul. This is your chance to save big with incredible rates and shop our wide variety of trucks, vans, SUVs, and cars. Only at Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit of becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Welcome back to the Blue Egg 200 here from Iowa Speedway on the Elite Racing Network for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. We are 1 to green. The field has double filed up for the restart. And I got news. I think Zach might have known about it, and I'll let Zach talk about it on this restart. But these guys are picking up more marbles on their tires based on that tire model update and that iRacing update we got yesterday. So maybe that tire spin from Jared Rexing on the last restart was a cause of that, and we might see more of it here. See Ethan Burrell and Ryan Gable wiggling their cars, try to get those tires scrubbed off. We are racing again. Gavin Hibbs with a strong start, but we are under caution again. There was a crash at the back of the field. Right on the start, that was. I did not see who crashed. Ryan Schuld is no longer in the race. Maybe it was him. Green. I don't know. Huh. Yeah,
Was there anybody behind Cutler?
I don't think so. Ryan Schuld disappeared from the session, and I wonder if he parked it. And
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if that's what happened. Is Schuld DC'd, but before he DC'd, iRacing registered him hitting the brakes and parking the car for a caution.
I mean, can we even see him?
I could not see him. Yeah, he's there. He goes away here on the back straightaway. But then nothing. See, he's gone.
Huh. Okay.
Is it possible that he continued on, realized he was out, stopped the car up in the top groove here away from everybody else, but in so doing causes a yellow because he's no longer connected to the server?
Hey, from my experience, that doesn't seem very likely, because let me tell you, when I've been in that situation where I can see the other cars but they can't see me, and I've been pinballed into 37 different directions because they're colliding with me but I'm not colliding with them, that's never brought out a caution to bail me out. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no, that's not what happened, but I don't have a better idea, so maybe, I don't know.
Very strange. I don't see. We don't have any reason for that caution, so
No, we've got nothing.
call it a debris caution, I guess. One of those old
Sure.
debris caution, just thrown at an odd time. A bunch of guys have gotten some damage fixed here. Schold has rejoined the race 3 laps down. Jonathan Cutlip is getting repairs. Trey Holmes is now a lap down getting repairs. Brent Jones on pit road getting repairs as well. Schultz got right front damage now. He didn't have that before. I don't know. That's what an odd situation here at Iowa in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. I do believe we're going to get the 1 to green here. And all of a sudden, see, there's right front damage on the 4 car. It feels like this was the caution, but we couldn't see it.
Maybe.
Now, you're not wrong. Every time I've ever disconnected from a practice or a race, it's never been, impactful to the other people. So I don't know. Daniel Falkingham, still the race leader. He's led every one of our 26 laps thus far. Only about 12 of those have been at speed. Gavin Hibbs rides in second. It's Ryan Gable and Ethan Burrell on row 2. Josh Chin and Daniel Gore there in row 3. Jared Rexing, Jeff Green in row 4. Matthew Weeks and Trey Eidson make up the top 10. Ethan Stanley, Nate Stewart, Ray Bracey, Blake Reynolds, and Chad Frankenfield make up the top 15 cars. Pace car heading back towards pit road for the 4th time in this race. We will set them loose. Daniel Falkingham on the loud pedal again. Great restart this time for the 39 car and the points leader. And no immediate caution. We're all right. We're green. Chad Frankenfield's 3 wide underneath Ray Bracey going into turn 1. Falkingham to the lead. It's Gavin Hibbs into second. Ryan Gable has slid into third. Ethan Burrell crossing to the inside to go after Ryan Gable for that 3rd spot. And into 1, it'll still be Ethan Burrell hunting after Ryan Gable. So now, Zach, I think you can make it to the stage if we do manage to sort this out, go green for a little bit.
I think some guys were going to be able to make it to the stage regardless.
Right.
Blake Reynolds had said during his practice stint that he did a 45 lap run. It was at 1% on the right front. So somebody would have made it 45 laps and won that stage without a caution. What that would have done, would that be a good long-term plan? I don't know. I still feel like if you ride, you would have wanted 50-50-50. Obviously, we've thrown all of that out the window now. But I feel like if you use your noggin, you can cut out a pit stop on some of these guys if we do get a long green flag run.
And some of these guys are still trying it. I do see Nate Stewart and Blake Reynolds are still not pressing the issue right now. They're kind of riding back in the mid-teens as we speak. In fact, they're down a couple more spots. Stewart back to 16th, Reynolds back to 18th as we ride. Ethan Burrell still challenging after Ryan Gable up front. It's all Daniel Falkingham at the race lead. Gavin Hibbs has not been able to drive by. First battle on track as things sort out in the top 5 is Matthew Weeks going after Trey Eidson for the 9th position. And yeah, I mean, 65 lap is the is the stage. I think these guys are going to prioritize making it to that point, and then after that, you get to 66, say, pit, and then you can kind of cut the race with like 48 lap increments or something to that effect. It's going to be very intriguing to see how these drivers come up with maneuvering around a significant tire wear degradation issue that could plague these guys as we get into a longer green flag run. Jared Rexing looks to the inside of Ethan Burrell. He'll find a lane underneath, but Burrell is able to power on the outside and cut back that 71 car, making the first battle on the racetrack be between Chad Frankenfield and Ray Bracey, back in 12th spot. Ray went up on the high side. He's able to hold Chad for now back there at the top of your screen. Everybody else, single file.
Schold has disconnected due to packet lost. Still fighting those connection issues on the 4 car.
Yeah, I think that's carrying over from the previous disconnection. Look at this single file train that has sorted out here. These guys have gotten orderly really quickly. And now, Zach, I think what's going to make this interesting, right, is as these guys start to sort out, you're going to see some of those guys who saved and conserved their tires at the beginning of the run a little bit more, I think, begin to march forward, because these guys who are, they're having to back their pace off right now, they're going to start to struggle. And that's going to start opening the door for more passes to get made, as here comes Josh Chin for third on Ryan Gable, and Rexing still going after Ethan Burrell. Jeff Green inside of Daniel Gore, almost got into the door of that 69. Gore able to hold back Jeff Green for now. Rare one-off start for Jeff. He is running Daniel Gore really, really tight for the 7th position here. Looks like you can hold serve on the high side pretty well here. You can kind of play defense with that, but my estimate is that once the tires start to really fall off, you will not be able to hold that outside line and get the run off the corner that you need to in order to hold somebody back.
I don't know. We'll wait and see on that. You might be right, but I almost wonder if it's going to bog down more if you try to cut to the bottom once you start seeing that fall off. You might want to be in that middle lane.
And even though you're already wearing that right front tire more, running that middle lane may enable you to power into the right rear a little bit and even your tires up, maybe make the car handle a little better.
In fact, this might be a great time to check in on one of my favorite conversations when we talk about the next-gen car. Are we shifting in the corners?
Let's go on board with somebody. How about Matthew Weeks as he goes to go around Daniel Gore? Let's see what Matthew Weeks is doing right here. He's one of the better tire-saving types in the field. In 4th gear. Let's see what he does down the back straightaway. Still in 4th gear. Oh, Daniel Gore just disconnected from the server. Oh.
Oh,
No shifting, by the way. Oh, he's back. Oh, boy. That car is in and out in a bad way. Get to experience it from on board with Matthew Weeks.
We might get out of the onboard here so we can see Daniel Gore.
Can we see Daniel Gore? We still can.
Right
He's
now
still
we
in
can.
there. Scoring had him a lap down for a second, and fortunately that 69 managed to stay connected, but frightening moments for the potential fans of that driver 69 Daniel Gore. Oh, Jeff Green almost into the left rear of Matthew Weeks, sent that number 2 car into the corner a little bit extra. I saw Ray Bracey sideways on the back straightaway last time. Ethan Stanley starting to take advantage of that 7 car, potentially being a little bit light on the tires. Josh Chin almost got into the door of Ryan Gable.
Yeah, you're definitely starting to see those cars dance a little bit more on corner exit now.
Remember, we did have the update to the next-gen car, putting 750 horsepower under these machines for these tracks 1.5 miles and shorter. Or rather, shorter than 1.5 miles, I should say. But iRacing obviously kind of beating real-life NASCAR to the punch. We haven't gone to Iowa yet, but man, Denny Hamlin was telling us the other day on his podcast that Darlington should be 4 seconds of tire fall off, and we were observing 2+ seconds of tire fall off over the course of a long run in practice for these guys.
Yeah, definitely a little bit close racing there. Jared Rexing and Daniel Gore. I definitely think between some of the elements that were changed as far as downforce and some of the body work, and obviously even more importantly than that, the extra horsepower, it's definitely added a premium on handling and tire management for these cars at the shorter racetracks. I won't call them all short tracks, obviously. Some of them are over 1 mile on that list, but shorter tracks on the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you and I would both argue that that's a change in the right direction for NASCAR in general, also for iRacing and our league and what we do here. We want to see these guys have to drive the cars, conserve the tires. They need to, we need to see tire fall off and lap time fall off as we go. We need to see the drivers excel in the things that make driving great, not aero blocking and just being in front, clean air, those types of things. I'd much rather see a 2 second to 4 second tire fall off over the course of a long run and let that be the deciding factor in a race.
Absolutely.
Jared Rexing starting to fall off big time, got a little bit loose in turn 2, washed up the track. Matthew Weeks drives on by. That'll open the door for Jeff Green. Trey Eidson bottled in behind the 71 car right here, but it looks like Jared Rexing paying the price a little bit, as is Josh Chin. Those 2 cars moved forward at the beginning of the run. They're starting to fall back now, and it's kind of what we expected to see. Those guys who pushed early, falling back, guys who stayed a little bit conservative at the beginning of the race, like Blake Reynolds and Nate Stewart, moving back to the front. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. Nate Stewart on the charge to the outside of Chad Frankenfield. He'll be looking after Ray Bracey shortly, and Blake Reynolds is just behind him.
I think the challenging part here, if you are one of those guys that did a better job of saving tires, now you're going to start catching these just gobs of race cars packed in on these lower grooves, and how do you get through there with your fresher tires?
You do like Nate Stewart is doing right now, taking to the lanes they are not in front of you. Big battle here. Josh Chin up the track. He's the one that's kind of the slowest right now. Jeff Green sneaking on by. Ethan Stanley trying to follow suit. And you see Nate Stewart and Blake Reynolds. They're just going to drop to the bottom. Oh, great Jared Rexing sideways down the track into Blake Reynolds. They all hang on to it. What a save by Jared Rexing. Great save by Blake Reynolds. That's going to split this field up a little bit, but no, I think there was contact between Eidson and Rexing to get that all started.
Fortunately, we stay green.
This group is now all packed up. Ryan Borges, Garrison Hogan, Hunter Smith, Randy Yoakum, Jaden Racimus. 3 wide between Tooker, Yoakum, and Hogan. Borges looking on. They'll all find their way into turn 3. No caution yet. The race leader is Daniel Falkingham. He's got a lead over Ethan Burrell. Josh Chin has hit pit road.
And I do not see a meatball there, so might just be a strategy call on his part.
Chin gonna short pit, try and set this thing up in 50 lap increments as we mentioned, but remember, a lot of these guys also got several of those 50 laps under yellow. The battle will be between Falkingham and Burrell. And Zach, Ethan Burrell is starting to eat into Daniel Falkingham's lead. He turned a lap a 10th.5 faster last time by.
Trouble. I think they got it straightened back out, but Chad Frankenfield was out of shape when I saw him. He's still
No, they're still out of shape. Ryan Borges into the inside wall hard. He's down and off the
caution. Boy,
he's down and off the surface.
I will refrain from pulling out my pulp, and now he's got to try.
Now the caution.
He I don't. That's so. Here's boy.
We need to go even further back here, Dave.
So that's.
I'm
where-
not sure.
that's-
I'm not
that's
sure why
what's
he's
gonna bring
backing
out-
up.
Well, that's what's got to bring out the caution. And two wrongs don't make a right. We need to fix the rules, and I will say this again and again and again. And somebody will probably yell at me. I don't care. We need to give race control the ability to throw the yellow when Ryan Borges hits the wall, and that would have avoided this whole problem. Now, Ryan, that does not mean Ryan Borges should back onto the racing surface and bring out the yellow, which he's saying he didn't do. But I mean, we could see the video. He did do that. That's going to be caution on him. That's going to be probably a penalty for bringing out a yellow of some description. Now, let's, if we can, go back to how
let's
this
go
all
back
started
further.
up.
Everybody down pit road, by the way, up in the front here. But let's pull this back and take a look at how this started. It was contact, as you mentioned, between
Right
it looks like
there.
Jaden Racimus
Maybe
and Chad Frankenfield. Yeah, I think Jaden's going to cut to the bottom underneath Chad, and Chad, maybe there was a little bit of, Chad thought he had another couple of feet there, but they all straighten it out. And now is where, I think, Zach, you say it best. You want cooler heads to prevail. Something is the better part of valor. Discretion, the better part of valor. Now these, discretion. Yes. Yeah. These guys, you're 3 wide on the apron. If you're Borges, you're Smith, back off. Go ahead and check up. Otherwise, you'll end up head on in the inside wall like Ryan Borges did. You want to gain the spots, but at this point, you've already had to check up. You already hit the apron. You messed up your racing line. You've lost a couple spots. Just check up. It's better for you to not get the additional damage, or and potentially in Borges' case, the additional penalty for backing back onto the racing surface, because I know for a fact we have seen 2 different drivers suspended for, I would deem, acts less egregious than the one we saw from the 30 car right there. I think those are David Tooker and Tyler Fody that both got dinged for backing or stopping on the track.
Have you looked at the YouTube chat by chance?
I have not. Is Tyler Fody in the YouTube chat? Because he is
Fody
not racing.
in the YouTube chat. And he made sure to chime in. I got 3 weeks served over 3 months for that. So
amazing.
We know what Tyler Fody's opinion is on this situation.
And that's what I see, right? A very similar incident, right? Because Tyler was sliding on that grass and backed up across the track, got the caution in a championship race. This one, I mean, Borges is well clear. He's feet clear of the wall. All he needs to do is cut the wheel to the right and start driving, and instead he backs up. I don't know how else you can rule that one. Obviously, that'll be after. Tate Lytle has also chimed in and noted the same thing, because, I mean, we've seen it before. So that one will get deemed after the race. We'll throw that one in the penalty report. Borges won't serve anything tonight, but that could potentially impact him next week. Oh, he's already parked? All right. There you go. Does that negate the suspension then? I guess we'll find out later. That's a question for.
We're not to that point yet.
We got that's for later days.
They haven't talked about the penalty.
Right. Okay. So Borges parked. That is going to matter on the points. I do believe he's in the chase as of now. Johnny Thomas has stayed out. That can't be a great idea. Green flag back on the track. Johnny with a good jump, but I imagine he'll be swinging high here in turn 1 to let these guys by.
Oh, this is gonna be.
It's not as high as I would have needed. Here comes Gavin Hibbs to the inside of Johnny Thomas. Boy, Zach, I guess Johnny's hoping to. Oh, crash! Daniel Gord, he saved it.
He saved it, and that's a caution. Oh, so people are punching air right now.
And Johnny Thomas gets the quick caution, and he'll get the stage points.
Man, so
what an unbelievable. Nate Stewart got all piece of Daniel Gore's left rear right here.
Yeah. fear that is what happened.
A great save by Daniel Gore here. I mean, excellent driving to keep the 69 car from wiping out. A little bit of corrective action by Nate Stewart into the left front tire to straighten up the 69 car. But I don't think Daniel Gore is going to be all that happy, as he's not going to get stage points any longer. I think that kicks him outside the top 10. And he will come down pit road. Obviously flat spotted the tires, potentially might also check for damage. Puff break for Daniel Gore here, as he was in the top 5 the entire first run. Johnny Thomas picks up 5 stage points. How about that? I was questioning the call. Call worked out great. I'm presuming that was the stage. Obviously, we'll be under caution once lap 65 hits. But
I believe that is, well, yeah.
check with race control, Sam Beltwell.
69.
Oh, okay. I mean, all right.
I mean, that is. I will say that's consistent with a couple of instances we've seen this season.
A couple we've seen, but I've talked to Sam. I think the lead car and the passing car have different responsibilities, right? The passing car's responsibility is to find a spot to pass where you're not going to run the guy over in front of you. The lead car is entitled to some racetrack, but I mean, at worst case, that's a racing deal. I think it should be pretty appealable for Daniel Gore. But like you said, we've seen tallies similar to that not get appealed or not get overturned this year. So who knows?
The worst part about this is I defended Sam for basically being the 69 car in an incident on Thursday night when he got hit by the guy in the 69 car.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Sam thinks that was his fault on Thursday night. I don't know. Maybe I'm literally the only person defending Sam Boutwell for that incident Thursday night. I don't know.
Yeah, no, nor do I. I felt similarly, and I mean, Daniel Gore's my driver. You know, he's a friend. It's a good guy, and I thought on Thursday night he was at fault. And I thought Stewart was at fault initially right there. So either way, Daniel Falkingham's going to pad his points lead with a stage win. Ethan Burrell and Gavin Hibbs.
He needed more of those, that's for sure.
Yeah, Gavin Hibbs and Ethan Burrell picked up some much needed stage points, as did Ryan Gavel. Matthew Weeks, Ethan Stanley, Nate Stewart, and Jeff Green, I believe, are the ones that get the stage points there. Maybe Blake Reynolds picked one up. But yeah, Daniel Falkingham is gonna continue to pad the lead. And we will race to the end from here with no hopeful breaks. Pace car is off. Falkingham back on the loud pedal. Weeks with a bit of a slow start on the bottom. That's going to open the door for Gavel. Stanley up top. Gavin Hibbs bypasses Burrell through to second. And we saw, Zach, just how important it was to keep the car under you. But what happened with that tire wear, and as those guys started coming to the front, as the pack got really, really dicey, and it caused one of those cautions. It seems like pushing early might be a benefit, but you can't push too hard, because Josh Chin pitted and just got the lucky dog with that last caution. Weeks and Stanley battling for the 5th position. Jeff Green looking on. Nate Stewart kind of has started that tumble down the field once again on the bottom of the racetrack. He's lost a spot to Green, lost a spot to Eidson. Ray Bracey now working the top side on Stewart and Reynolds.
Oh, here comes it. Is that Mikolajczyk? Yeah,
It
he's
is.
inside the 3 wide.
Yeah. Oh, it's contact between Randy Yoakum and Seth Rawls. Mikolajczyk on the inside lane. Yoakum sends it way up the top. I'll tell you, Zach, that is what's going to burn the right front tire off of this car. If you drive it like Randy Yoakum did right there, don't slow it down any. You're basically leaning solely on the right front to keep that car turning.
Yeah, I mean, it's paying off for him right now. He was able to pick up a couple of spots working that outside lane. Boy, he was real aggressive on getting down in front of, I believe that was Hunter Smith.
Yeah, this battling all for the 15th spot on back. David Tooker has that. Randy Yoakum trying to grab it. Now Rawls to the inside of Randy Yoakum. And they have come up on the two guys who we've talked about a couple of times tonight, Blake Reynolds and Nate Stewart, sliding back towards them, but intentionally, mind you. Randy Yoakum trying the I'm going to go for it from the drop here approach. 08 up to the outside of David Tooker is going to get that spot, going to look after Garrison Hogan, but I promise you folks at home that 08's fast right now. He will pay the price if this race goes green for, say, 20 more laps.
Bad night getting worse for the 69 car, David.
Did she, disconnected due to packet loss. That, he'll have that. We did see him blink in and out a couple of times on that previous long run. Had stayed in, but unfortunately, second place finisher last week, going to continue his struggles here tonight. Yoakum is going to enter, he's going to get 11th from Stewart here, and he's going to get up on Ray Bracey for the 10th spot. But he's driving it so hard, I wonder where that cliff is, because we've seen guys fall off the cliff. Josh Chin did earlier. There's going to be a number of guys, I think, that could enter that issue, and this Randy Yoakum 08 car is definitely one of them here.
Oh,
Yoakum just got a piece of Bracey. This group continues to battle up front. It is all Daniel Falkingham, but Gavin Hibbs is tracked to his rear bumper. Burrell, Gavel, Weeks, Jeff Green is that top group. Still looking on this battle between Nate Stewart and Blake Reynolds. Reynolds, a little bump to the back bumper of Gavin Higgins.
Reynolds has definitely turned up the wick here. He had just a lap or two had to really kind of check up going into one to keep from getting into the back of Nate Stewart with the speed he carried into corner entry. Now obviously he's around him trying to get around Gavin Higgins in this black and red 20 car.
I will say I have seen a little bit of right front damage on the 67 from that contact with Daniel Gore earlier. I do wonder if that's harming the speed at all, though we have seen both the 66 and 67 back up their pace significantly on purpose here to dodge out of the way of these guys throwing it in on the new tires. As we look onto this battle, there's also a battle going on for the 4th spot, and Dave jumped right up to it as I mentioned it. It's Matthew Weeks going after his teammate Ethan Burrell. Burrell had closed in on Falkingham, and he has been pretty dedicated to not running overly hard and overly aggressive during this run or during the last run, but it paid big dividends last time. He drove right up through the top 5 and got up into second. This is the kind of race that, we haven't seen Ethan Burrell be a top contender in a couple of seasons, really, but this is the kind of track, the kind of race that I could really see Ethan Burrell start to gain some of that mojo back, balance the tires over the course of a long run with a lot of those that tire wear should let him really pick up the pace and come after these guys, potentially get out into the lead here.
You see him on top of that list of the average lap times. Jeff Green also running well on these. Is it 5 laps, David?
I think so. I think the What Have You Done For Me Lately is 5. Okay.
5 fastest for last lap.
Gotcha.
Fast 5 for last 5. There.
There you go. And Ethan Brell's on that list as well. And spoiler alert, Matthew Weeks. Boy, where have we heard that one before?
Mm-hmm. Fast on a track with tire degradation over a long run. Oh, cable into the wall. Might have gotten a little out of the groove with Matthew Weeks jumping his inside. Now Burrell to the outside of Gavin Hibbs. Those two Pro Edge Toyotas are really starting to find their way towards the front. Here comes Burrell. He'll clear past Hibbs, move into second, and set his sights on leader Daniel Falkingham. We haven't seen Falkingham in any sort of dirty air so far. Let's see if Ethan Burrell can't challenge this 39 for the race lead. He was faster again that last lap.
This is where we're going to start keeping an eye on tire wear. Are we going to start seeing some of those meatballs? A lot of guys pit at lap 57. We did have a few caution laps since then, but we're getting closer to the danger zone, I think, since this has been a mostly green flag run.
Randy Yoakum is still in 9th, but the guys behind him, you see the gap from Jaden Racimus in 8th back to Randy Yoakum in 9th, and the guys behind him have kind of backed up even more. I do wonder how long Yoakum's going to have up here in the top 10. Burrell has gotten to Daniel Falkingham. He has not been able to get by. I think some of that might be because Falkingham has backed up the pace, but he's also controlled the pace. He's running at a pace he deems comfortable, and Burrell has kind of also deemed that pace comfortable.
We're starting to see a gaggle of cars form right around just outside the top 10.
Yep.
Here.
Yep.
3 wide that just happened right as we cut to it. So this is, let's see if I can, you got David Tooker, who is now passing Ethan Stanley. Ray Bracey is under pressure from Joseph Vandermarle and Blake Reynolds. Looks like they're going to get by on the outside. And now Garrison Hogan also wants to get by. Meanwhile, Blake Reynolds wants to get around Justin Vandermarle. And this is where those who has managed the tires, who is starting to suffer a little bit. This is where you guys start seeing guys moving forward, falling backwards.
The two guys moving forward right now are those two up on the outside. You've got Vandermarle, you've got Reynolds. They're really starting to push forward into 11th and 12th and around Ethan Stanley. And Stanley has lost a good bit of ground as well. Here comes Ray Bracey to his outside. Oh, Reynolds and Vandermarle, a little bit of contact down the back straightaway. Reynolds will drive to the inside of Vandermarle and bypass him. And that intentional strategy is saving those tires early in the run, continuing to pay dividends for Blake Reynolds. Problem is, he's got to go up the road 4 seconds to get to the race lead. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that unless there's some caution flags mixed in.
Either that or you have to hope the long game plays out. And I'm not exactly sure what that looks like. Do you go for an undercut at some point? Do you try to run it long and hope the fresher tires pay off for you later on? I'm not really quite sure what that looks like at this point. We haven't gotten a great read because of the early cautions, but obviously you're going to have to do something a little different than the leaders to help close that gap if it stays green.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, well, if it does stay green and we start getting those green flag pit stops, it's not Dover, but Iowa's a really tough pit road to get on under green flag conditions.
Yeah, you'll see guys in the pit barrels potentially or missing pit road to the right. It's real easy to slide on past that pit road, especially when your tires are low or even potentially at 0 with that meatball flag. It'll be real tough to get on a pit road at that point.
And it's also really deceptive because for, reasons only known to Rusty Wallace and God, we have this strip of asphalt between the trioval grass and the pit wall. So you come off turn 4 and you're like, that's what I'm aiming for, and then you realize, no, I need to get like way left of this. I am off track. I am going down the runway here on the wrong side of the pit wall. I need to get over.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. Having to make that green flag pit stop. We saw Josh Chin make one earlier. Johnny Thomas is back down pit road, and that might be. He's just getting tires, but there might be some additional damage. There might be some additional damage for Johnny Thomas there, because he had fresher tires than everybody else.
Well,
but we're getting to that point, Zach. If you ran too hard in those first 40 or so laps, you could definitely start seeing meatballs come out. I'm looking at this 08 car. Randy Yoakum potentially is one that could grab one. We've seen a backslide from Ethan Stanley. That's a car that could hit pit road early.
I didn't see one on the 08.
Well, I'm saying it could. I'm looking out for one in the near future.
Sure.
Yeah. Certainly not yet. Daniel Falkingham has led every one of our 97 laps so far, continuing to pad his lead, and he's probably on pace to rack up the most laps led in a single Belly Up Sports Cup Series season at this point. He's been out front just about every race. For large chunks, we're approaching halfway here. And if you're planning on dividing this last stage in half 50-50, lap 100 is not a bad lap to come down pit road, presuming we don't get that caution flag that traps you a lap down. That's about the only way it doesn't work.
Right. That's the challenge, especially on a short track. Lower pit road speed limit and all of that. It's very easy to lose a lap or two under a green flag pit stop, and then you're just kind of hoping it cycles through so you don't get trapped in a unsavory position.
Mm-hmm. Ethan Burrell pressuring Daniel Falkingham for that race lead. Falkingham holding strong so far. Gavin Hibbs running third, Ryan Gable fourth, Jeff Green and Matthew Weeks are side by side for fifth way back there. On board right now with Ethan Burrell in that Pro Edge number 37 car, and he's finding clean air wherever he can get it, but that 39 is just really, really strong out in front. He's really good at maintaining the race lead. It's something that Blake Reynolds has excelled in a lot this season. I did note that Blake Reynolds had that 4-second gap a couple of laps ago. That gap is down to 2.9 seconds. He's made up over a second on Daniel Falkingham and worked his way up into ninth.
Harrison Talon, excited that we have reached the halfway mark of this race.
Harrison did not particularly enjoy the scheduling of Iowa. He has not had a good time this week and has made it known in the driver chat and other chats that he is unhappy with the handle on this car and this racetrack. We're all starting to fade just a little bit, and here's, Zach, is where I wonder, as we've bypassed lap 100, does Ethan Burrell try to undercut Daniel Falkingham and see what that looks like? But as I think about it, you probably need to overcut. You probably need to find a way, especially if you're this fast still in the run, you'd probably need to run this out, let everybody behind you come down pit road, and then maybe try to get that overcut done in the second stop here before the end of the race.
Maybe. And see, this is why I was wondering if we'd see. You saw Ethan Burrell going up a little bit above the pave there. I wondered if as the tires wore out, if we might see that. I don't know if he necessarily liked what he saw, but he gave it a look at least.
Jeff Green bypassing Ryan Gable for the fifth position. Gavin Hibbs into third, Matthew Weeks fourth, but it's kind of been all Daniel Falkingham and Ethan Burrell. Blake Reynolds has bypassed Jaden Racimus. He's gotten up to eighth, but he's got to go through so many cars here to get up towards the race leaders. That's going to make things really difficult. This is where, you save the tires, but I think it's something Tate Lytle does really, really well. Save the tires and go fast, maintain your track position. And we've called out, Tate Lytle's falling back a little too far. I don't think the tire save isn't really going to help you that much when you're back this far. We're kind of in that scenario for Blake Reynolds here where he was coming back from 18th on the grid, and it's working for him right now. He's faster than these guys around him, but he's got to make so many passes. He's got to gain so much ground. It's going to be very difficult to get all the way up there to Daniel Falkingham, because by the time he does, that 39 is just going to peel down for pit road.
I'll tell you another thing to keep in mind if we do get these green flag pit stops. I mean, you can see it visibly from even these broadcast cameras with the update to the dynamic track model. And those marbles we talked about on the restart, they are littered all over the apron around this racetrack. And that's going to impact your ability to find grip as you're slowing down for pit entry, as well as when you're trying to get up to speed on pit exit.
Yep. It's going to make things more difficult. I will say, I believe the 08 of Randy Yoakum has found the cliff. That car has started drifting way up the track in the middle of turns of each turn on this speedway. And here comes Ryan Gable down pit road. Through the marbles goes Gable, and oh man, that's gonna be close. I don't see a black flag. I think Gable's going to get down to pit road speed, but that is going to be the first of our leaders to hit pit road, and that should open the door for some more of these guys to try and head down. It is a risk, obviously, if we get the caution flag. Some of these guys, oh man, Bracey and Mikolajczyk just made contact on the back straightaway. That could have hurt Ryan Gable sincerely, but for now, he's all right. Here comes Yoakum. Here comes Seth Rawls. I will say, looking at where Yoakum pitted from, I think the run hard at the beginning of the run strategy really worked out for him and Seth Rawls there.
Absolutely. I think there is something to be said about, zigging when everybody else zags. He was able to get in front of a lot of guys. It was hard, even with how ill-handling that car was, to get around him after the fact, and now he's able to pit. He's got to get the undercut. He's probably got to get in a little bit better track situation when he gets back out, if he can just nail down this pit exit and take advantage of it.
There's Ryan Gable. Quick update for him. He is one lap down. He's about a half a straightaway up on Daniel Falkingham, maybe a full straightaway up. Falkingham's at the start finish line now. Gable's exiting turn 2, and that puts him a lap and a half down basically, and he was up there in the top 5 before pitting, so you lose about a lap and a half. Oh, there's one.
That's what I'm talking about. That's not
down the runway.
It's somebody behind them. That may have been Gilberto Javier Gamero. Looks like missed pit road as well.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
I'm telling you, you think you're on the right track. It did. You realize, oh, nope, that's the wall.
Oh, man. That's exactly the way you described it, too, right? And Junior Seamus gassed it up to try and go around, but he's still going to be in a tough spot. Gilberto also missing pit road here.
Yeah, I think he just flat missed. I don't know if he would have made pit wall if it was on the other side of that landing strip.
And all this, and Blake Reynolds has moved into second. He has bypassed all the cars between he and Daniel Falkingham, and he is running the fastest times on the racetrack here. He's running 24.7s right now. Falkingham just ran a 24.9. And Burrell is into the deep 25.5s. Weeks 25.1. Yeah. Josh Adams is running a 25 flat. He's up to 13th. Which one who saved his tires?
Gibson? I don't know if this was it must be a speeding, because he's on pit exit.
Yeah, I think he either fixed damage or he's coming off pit road right now. There's a whole group of guys going off pit road into a giant gaggle of cars. You also have Ryan Gable bypassing this huge gaggle of cars right now. The likelihood of a caution is very high at this moment, because there's a lot of cars a lot slower than all the other cars around them, and a lot of cars a lot faster than the whole field around them as well. These guys are going to have to take extreme care of each other through this cycle. It's the kind of time where one singular mistake can definitely bottle up this race for a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it must be. Oh! Almost washed back up the track there, but he's coming back to pit road, so I think this must be a speeding penalty.
Yeah. speeding for
He's
Kirk
going
Gibson.
Well, he didn't ask for it to be changed to a drive-through. Josh Chin just got the meatball.
Yep. Chin is going to have to come down pit road. That is a tire blown.
And it's going to be really challenging with no right front to get that car woed up,
man.
but he has managed to do it.
Basically consider it a flat tire there for Josh Chin. Blake Reynolds is hounding Daniel Falkingham for the race lead. He has made up a ton of time, and here comes Blake Reynolds to the inside of Falkingham. The saving tire strategy paid off thus far. Falkingham, though, has turned up the wick a little bit, but Reynolds' car is really, really hooked up on the bottom of the racetrack.
Ye of little faith.
I'll tell you, I've been noting this strategy from the drop of the green flag. I've definitely had faith in it. Blake Reynolds to the lead. Ray Bracey off pit road. Try to prevent himself from going 2 laps down. I think he'll do that without question. These two have pulled 3 seconds out on Matthew Weeks and Jeff Green. Jonathan Cutlip is up to 5th, and he is going to bypass Weeks here and probably Jeff Green into turn 1. Ryan Gable is also going after those guys. And there's Gerald Campbell with a meatball. Jonathan Cutlip has been backwards in this race tonight. He is also qualified in 25th. He is currently running 3rd. Tire saving stuff really matters. Josh Chin also on fresh tires, bypasses Ryan Gable.
Pit road.
Worth noting, Chin is a lap behind Gable. Nate Stewart on pit road with Gerald Campbell. There's a few more that have hit pit road that we haven't necessarily mentioned yet. Gavin Hibbs has hit pit road. Seth Rawls is one of those guys who had gone down pit road quite early. Chad Frankenfield's been on pit road. Justin Vandermarl has been on pit road as well. They're all behind Blake Reynolds, and Reynolds is making tons of ground right now on his competitors. Daniel Falkingham is already over a second behind. He's going to lose another half second this lap. I think if you're Falkingham, you got to pit. You got to minimize this damage.
Matthew, I cannot believe I'm saying this. Matthew Weeks has a meatball.
Yeah, wow. Tire down for Matthew Weeks. He'll have to hit pit road.
Normally the master in these kinds of races.
Yeah, he is overdriven it a little bit and didn't plan on making that extra pit stop. And I wonder if Blake Reynolds and Daniel Falkingham, Jonathan Cutlip, these guys who've already run long one time and then are also running long this way, can they make the rest of the way without pitting again? Once they do come down pit road here, is that what Daniel Falkingham's looking for?
Well, now you're gonna ask me to do math here. They pitted at 57. Obviously, we've had some caution since then, but this is going to be a 70-lap run. I think that's the game plan. I think that could be the game plan.
And Daniel Falkingham heading for pit road now. Oh boy. Jeff Green right behind him. Garrison Hogan missed pit road. Hogan's driving down the runway on the front straightaway. Michael Goodman's got a meatball. He's not going to make it. Oh, wow. He did. He found a way. Brent Jones down pit road. Meatball for Goody. Meatball for Hogan. Hogan's got to come all the way around with the meatball. Blake Reynolds, Jonathan Cutlip still on the racetrack. Reynolds still running 25.1s. Cutlip just ran a 25.5. Hogan will now pit. And make it to pit road this time. Was Ethan Stanley one of the first ones to pit, or is he still out there? Trey Holmes, meatball flag. He's going to have to bring it to pit road. Flat tire on the 23.
looks like Ethan is still out there.
Yeah, Stanley, I think, is on
Yeah.
the tire saving strat. Jonathan Cutlip is heading for pit road. Blake Reynolds, Jonathan Cutlip, Ethan Stanley, David Tooker, Josh Adams, Scott Crump, Michael Hosack, Corey Abbott, Ty McIntosh, Jesse Racimus, Hunter Smith. Daniel Falkingham is running through some of these guys like 3 seconds faster a lap. Oh my goodness. We might need to just throw a camera on Falkingham and watch him drive around some of these guys. I mean, look at the pace difference.
It's got to look like playing the console game on rookie mode. That's what those tires do. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, let me squeeze past you.
That is insane. He is going to be the first car out on fresh tires, obviously. Blake Reynolds, I think I have to trust in Blake Reynolds. Right? He has already gotten to the lead through this strategy. I think he has to stick with it and work his way back to the front again.
We'll see how it plays out for sure, because this is a pretty significant little gap in that he had the opportunity to cover off Daniel Falkingham and pit before now, and now he's got to have Dustin Dewar pitting in front of him.
Oh, this is not going to make it. Dusty's sideways in the front straightaway. This should not draw a yellow flag.
Unless he does something really crazy, and I was concerned about it. I think we're good.
I mean,
I think that technically worked. I think that technically worked.
Caution didn't come out. I think that's all right. That's fine. Works for me.
I don't recommend it.
Nor do I.
But it worked.
Nor do I.
Task failed successfully.
Ryan Gable has unlapped himself and gotten around Blake Reynolds, gotten back on the lead lap. He's still 22 seconds behind the race leader. Boy, this thing is going to cycle out, and then there's Brent right into the back of Blake Reynolds. Gilberto's up on the wall. This is where, Blake, I like that Blake has stayed out. He's covered over these guys, but you do need to get back on their strategies. Here comes Josh Adams with a meatball. Scott Crump heading down pit road as well. You do have to get back on their strategy because you don't want to be run over because you're the slowest car on the racetrack. You do need to get back get back down pit road, get your fresh tires, and then, get on their strategy and go back to saving early in the run and then catch them and pass them.
It's going to be dangerous whenever he does decide to pit. I mean, he's having a hard enough time not getting run over running the bottom period.
He's lost like a second. He's lost like a second to Ethan Stanley and all this craziness right now. This is not helping, I don't think, this 66 car.
10-car meatball.
Ty McIntosh with a flat tire. He has managed to stay on the racetrack for a long time, though. It's a good run. He will not have to pit again after this stop right here. Oh, don't hit the barrels.
Oh, no! I think, did he miss it?
He clipped him. There's a little right front damage. Blake Reynolds is on pit road behind him. I will turn the lead over to Ethan Stanley, who is staying on the racetrack. So at the line.
Man.
Was that lead change number 3? It was not. Blake Reynolds technically led that lap. 5 cars still on track. Now 4 as Jared Rexing hits pit road. Stanley, David Tooker, Hunter Smith. The cars remaining that have not yet come to pit road, and Ethan Stanley will again stay out, get a bonus point for leading a lap this time.
It's going to be very interesting to see where everybody shakes out here.
Ryan Gable's about 3 seconds up the road on Gavin Hibbs and Falkingham. Falkingham just went around Gavin Hibbs. Let's see where Blake Reynolds comes out in relation to those guys. He may be a half lap down, and he may still have the best chance to win the race of any of them.
This is going to have more of a feel of an IndyCar race at Iowa than a NASCAR race.
Well, that's about right. This crazy tire save, these big degradations, the wild swings in strategy and pace. Daniel Falkingham just ran the fastest lap of the race, but remember, Falkingham may yet need to pit again. Ryan Gable, who is currently the top car on tires, definitely will need to pit again. Ethan Stanley, Blake Reynolds, David Tooker, Hunter Smith, they will not. They will be able to make their final pit stop here and go to the end of the race. And David Tooker has that meatball. He's heading for pit road. He'll make it. Daniel Falkingham is going around Ryan Gable as we speak. They are 10 seconds off the lead of Ethan Stanley. Stanley watching as Ray Bracey and Blake Reynolds both unlap themselves. Falkingham is now the top car on tires. He is in turn 3 coming off to turn 4. Blake Reynolds is just now exiting turn 2. A full half lap down for Blake Reynolds in 16th place. And with the speed and the tire difference, I still believe that the 66 car is the car to beat here.
Hunter Smith has called out he is pitting.
Did he get a meatball, or did he save it all the way to that point?
Nope, he's good.
And you know, you mentioned the IndyCar thing. Hunter Smith's a big time IndyCar guy.
He is.
Got a lot of that same strategy built in. It seems like this would be a race to fit his style. Ethan Stanley, another one of the strong IndyCar guys. And guess who's leading the IndyCar points right now, Zach? Daniel Falkingham.
So you're telling me he's leading the IndyCar points and the Belly Up Cup Series points?
Yeah, I am telling you that. Yeah, I think I might be good at this.
He might be pretty good at this iRacing thing.
You know, he should make a career out of it. He might have already done that.
He might have.
Ethan Stanley still on the racetrack. Man, what a run for Ethan Stanley.
Yeah, I mean, he pitted at 57 according to what we're seeing here on the telemetry. So you're looking at that's 90 laps.
Yep.
Am I right? Is it? I try not to do math.
And it's 90 laps. He's going to be able to basically run as hard as he possibly can over the last 53 laps of this race. And that's assuming he pits this lap, and he is not pitting this lap.
Golly. This is crazy.
He's going to go 2 laps down, and he'll still probably be capable of a top 10 finish. That's what's wild about it. If you look back there at the very top of your screen, you might have seen a pink dot in the distance.
Ah, yes.
Daniel Falkingham is running Ethan Stanley down very quickly, but he's getting run down. Blake Reynolds is up to 12th. He is 16 seconds back. He is running laps half a second faster right now than Daniel Falkingham is. So eventually, that's going to open the door for Blake Reynolds to get back up here and challenge for the win. I'm really glad we got to see a long green flag run with these track conditions and this tire.
Yes. This is, I think this is what we were hoping to see when we were.
Yep.
It's easy for us to say that. The drivers were all miserable seeing how drastic the tire wear was, but you know what? The good thing is, David, we're not drivers on Wednesday nights. So we
Nope.
just sat back and listened to him and dreamed of dancing plums and tire blowouts and tire strategies and fall off and all the things we love to talk about that the drivers hate dealing with. We could not wait for this race, and we were probably the only people that felt that way.
I really have been excited about this race. This is a good one. You're not wrong. I was like, Daniel Gord sent us the tire fall off. Here comes Ethan Stanley heading down pit road at long last. He sent me that he had 0% tire, and I was like, oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Let's go. Awesome. Because, I mean, that's what makes this stuff great, man. I'll tell you, you speak from, and these guys speak from a worry of competition, right? But
Sure.
I love the chance to go out and save tire and be better than the guys around me in a fixed setup race. That's exciting to me. I love that. That's fun. It's going to be, it's all about strategy. It's all about making the right calls. We're going to see good calls pay off in a race like this, especially if we can keep this race green all the way to the end here. We're going to get some really, really interesting decisions in the last 50 laps of this thing, because there's a whole group that can come down pit road and make up seconds on their competition. Right? I mean, Ryan, to our understanding, Ryan Gable, Gavin Hibbs, Trey Eidson, they have to come down pit road.
Well, if 95 is possible, then maybe they don't have to, but that means you're going to have to manage your tires as well as Ethan Stanley did. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Ryan Gable, knowing him, he ain't done that.
He ain't done
that. Maybe some of these other guys have, but I can tell you who hasn't. It's the driver of the 01 car. I promise that.
All right. He's not saving it all. And I don't think that was in the cards. If you were going to pit at 100, right? I think you were not expecting to try to make it to the end there. You were expecting, I'm going to burn my stuff up, pit, burn my stuff up again, running as fast as I possibly can, pit, and try to run it and burn as much as I can and try and finish this race with as much attacking power as I can muster against these guys trying to limp to the end, and hope that works out, right? And ultimately, you want to spend less time on pit road. But with a tire degradation like this, even 40 laps of fresher tires could make a huge difference.
For sure.
Daniel Falkingham is...
Yeah, no, I'm just keeping an eye on especially that 66 car on the pylon and watching him eat away. There you see he's up to 5th, gaining tenths of a second at the time on Trey Eidson.
And Eidson, I think, pitted after Daniel Falkingham did.
You would be...
I might be incorrect, actually.
Incorrect, actually. Eidson pitted at 117, Reynolds at 138.
Oh, Falkingham, in front of Falkingham.
Oh, Falkingham pitted at 126.
Okay, so Eidson is still out there on older tires. We're watching Ty McIntosh, Trey Holmes. Those are guys that went all the way into the 120s, can just go to the end here. And you'll note, I mean, watching Ty, watching Trey, those guys aren't really pushing. They're running their line. They're kind of keeping to the bottom. We've seen those guys that are pushing, they go up to the outside lane. And I think that's where you get that right front in trouble. Ryan Gable might be a little bit in trouble here. We've watched him lose a spot to Gavin Hibbs, about to lose a spot to Trey Eidson. Not too far back here is Blake Reynolds. He'll be losing a spot to that 66 as well.
Who is that up in? Is that Dustin Dewar in the fence?
Yep. Oh, man. Almost down and into Gavin Hibbs.
I don't think the Hail Dusty is going to be the move on lap 160 here.
No, I don't think so. I'm surprised I haven't seen more folks jump down pit road. Oh, Yoakum and Stewart heading down pit road. Here comes the
Yoakum made it.
Just as I was questioning where they were, they have arrived on screen. Nate Stewart, Randy Yoakum hitting pit road for that final time to try and gain time with the fresher tires. I will be extremely interested to see how much ground they're able to make up. I mean, Randy Yoakum was running in the top 10 on the new tire pace before that first caution, before the first pit stop on this long green flag run, but he pitted so early, he ran so hard. Josh Chin down pit road as well. Who got tagged?
I believe it was the 67.
Well. Dave has some admin power when it comes to ARCA, and so yesterday we had race control calling pit boxes. We do have a 3 in, 3 out rule here in Elite.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Gable down pit road from 5th spot.
Ronnie Millsap could have made that call.
Gable went 2 in. Perfect. Stewart serving the penalty. Gavin Hibbs, Trey Eidson down pit road here. Daniel Falkingham's kind of making some... Yeah, Daniel Falkingham's heading for pit road. Gerald Campbell on pit road. Falkingham locked him up as he got to the entry, but he did get to pit road speed. No black flag for the race leader, Falkingham. He will turn it over to Blake Reynolds. Blake Reynolds doesn't have to pit again.
I will defend Nate Stewart. We haven't had a chance to really talk about that. Did he speed? Oh, well, I can't defend that now.
Can't defend him anymore.
No, I was going to say he's one of the guys, since he qualified near the front of the field, he's in like the part of turn 1 and 2 that's on pit road. So like, if it would have been easy to miscite that.
Harrison Talon, Jaden Racimus, Gilberto, Javier Gomera all on pit road here, getting their service for the final time in this race. Remember, there's about 10 to 15 cars that are not going to have to pit again based on their run here in this stint, including race leader Blake Reynolds. I'm wondering how far back Falkingham will be able to charge. He is 24th right now. Already picked up the freshest tires. He's going to get guys like Trey Holmes, Ty McIntosh pretty readily. He might even get Ethan Stanley and David Tooker.
Max he fell behind was 31 seconds.
So we will see. Nate Stewart's going to have to serve that other penalty.
Johnny Thomas, meatball.
Johnny heading for pit road now. I think the guys Oh, and Johnny missed pit road with the flat tire.
No.
Not what you want to see. We do have a meatball counter here, and I guess we should explain it. We've been talking about it all race long in iRacing. When you get a severe damage penalty, a black flag shows up with a red circle in the middle to indicate the severe damage. That looks kind of like a meatball, so that's what it's kind of affectionately referred to as. However, they don't have a tire down flag to indicate that being the problem.
Or an animated tire, flat tire, or anything thereof.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the meatball indicator is also used when you get a flat tire. And these guys, we're counting it up because that's how many tires have quote unquote blown out, indicated by the meatball flag.
Another one for the 88, by the way.
He has had a night. As Kirk Gibson, he's 55 laps down.
His pit crew's got to run out of ice cream.
Quick rundown update. Blake Reynolds, obviously the race leader after all of the pit cycle has rolled through. Jonathan Cutlip is up in second, 1.7 back. He's really not that far off of Reynolds. Jeff Green is sitting in third, Zach. He's on the right strategy to finish there, too. I would be so thrilled if we got to talk to Jeff Green in a Belly Up Sports Cup Series.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It has been a minute. I don't even know if we've ever gotten a chance to interview Jeff. He's had some rough strings of luck, and this is I hate to jinx him. This is the best performance I've seen from Jeff Green in a number of seasons.
You've got me curious. I'm going to have to do some research here to find out when would have been the last Jeff Green podium finish here in the Belly Up Cup Series.
I'm thinking 22 or 23. But, I mean, it's been a minute. I'll keep running down the order. Yeah, 23.
At Daytona.
Oh. Yep.
But not the 500.
Yes, the second Daytona race. Ethan Burrell's running fourth as we continue our rundown. He's just behind Jeff, but Ethan's in a tough spot because he was one of the first cars down pit road. So he's either got to run the 95 laps like Ethan Stanley did in order to not pit, or he's got to hope for a yellow flag basically at this point. Justin Vandermarle is currently running fifth.
I am going to throw a wrinkle at you here in that Jeff Green stat. 21. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top. No, I can count. 5 top 5 finishes in the Belly Up Cup Series in his career. 2 at Talladega, 1 at Daytona, 1 at Michigan. So fast tracks, right? That's his forte. In the 2021 B race at Iowa, which if you remember was that race when we were just starting out with the next gen in this series, and we had very similar tire issues that night. 5th place finish for a Jefe.
He's pretty good when it comes to this. Yeah, I do recall that race. I was definitely one would have been on the meatball counter. I'm sure you were as well. But
I avoided it actually. I think I
very
kept
nice.
the tires underneath me. It didn't matter. I finished like 27th that night, but I kept the tires underneath me.
Very nice. Yeah, a wild one that was, and this has been very not all that different. After Vandermarl comes Matthew Weeks, then Paul Mikulajczyk running 7th. Scott Crump is running in 8th. Josh Adams running 9th. Ray Bracey in the top 10. Here comes Weeks going after Justin Vandermarl for the 5th spot. And Crump just went around Mikulajczyk for 7th. And hey, let's shout out Scott Crump. Missed last week's Bristol dirt race from suspension. And is started this race with an EOL. He is driven all the way up into 7th. He says started 7th. He actually started last in this 90 car, but he has managed to run a strategy that should net him an opportunity to finish well. It's not. He's going to lose one spot though, Zach, and I'll tell you why. If we zoom back the camera back out, a pink machine is bearing down on the top 10 right now. He is just about to get into the top 10, and that is Daniel Falkingham, who just about to blow around Josh Adams, who should be able to go to the end of the race.
Oh no!
And all of that is out the window.
All right.
Corey Abbott, the car around, and it looked like he was heading for pit road and got back up on the banking in that little transition.
Yep. And he's got it locked down. He's got it trying to get stopped.
Flip it around. I mean, that's the same spot Dusty Dewar was driving backwards during one of them. I don't know how that's a caution. Maybe because he drove back onto the racing surface a little bit?
Yeah, he drove. I guess he got the right side tires across the line, but I feel like he did everything he could to not bring out the caution.
I mean, we saw significantly more egregious acts going onto pit road.
Yeah, man, that's a tough one. And that's going to completely reset this race.
Mm-hmm. 20 laps to go. Everybody's taking 4 tires. No questions.
For sure.
No questions about it. 24 cars were on the lead lap, including Corey Abbott. Ryan Gable had unlapped himself, by the way. So Gable had pitted, unlapped himself. The guys that had pitted and not unlapped themselves include Seth Rawls, Randy Yoakum, Josh Chin, Michael Goodman, Gerald Campbell, Dusty Dewar, Jaden Racimus, Brent Jones, Carlos Acosta, Chad Frankenfield. I name those names, also the guys who are multiple laps down, but I name those names because they are all going to get back on the lead lap with a wave by. They will need another caution, however, in order to make up some actual spots because everybody in front of them will be on fresh tires and they will have significantly older tires behind.
And there might be a couple of lapped cars between them as well.
Yep. Ethan Stanley has the look of a machine that took 2 tires. So does that pink car of Daniel Falkingham. And I would wager those are 2 right side tires for the 91 and the 39. And board says it agrees with me. 2 tires for basically everybody who already pitted. Stanley obviously had been taking very good care of the tires.
Hogan, Eidson, Hibbs. Yep.
Falkingham gaining some of that track position back, putting himself back in position to challenge Blake Reynolds for the race win. And there will be no tire saving on this green flag. And I fear that, Zach, that we might be in for a chaotic finish to the Blue Egg 200 tonight.
Yeah, now that the tire saving is going to be just about out the window, everybody's going to be fighting for those patches of dark asphalt. This is going to get pretty hairy, I think. And I don't mean Talon, although he might be involved.
He might be. So let's go down the running order before we go back to green to finish this race. Blake Reynolds, the race leader, had nailed down the strategy and put himself in position to win before that caution comes out. Now he will have to defend from the race lead. Ethan Stanley will restart second. Jonathan Cutlip third. Daniel Falkingham fourth. Stanley and Falkingham on 2 right side tires only. Reynolds, Cutlip, and everybody behind, for the most part, on 4 fresh tires. Matthew Weeks will restart 5th. Jeff Green will restart 6th. Was on track to finish on the podium, Zach. I am devastated that we don't get a chance to talk to Jeff Green yet. Maybe he can get back up there. Ethan Burrell restarts 7th. Scott Crump 8th. Garrison Hogan, potentially on 2 tires, will restart 9th alongside Trey Eidson, who also potentially is on 2 tires, in 10th. Justin Vandermarl, Mikkel Leishik, Gavin Hibbs, Gavin Higgins. Of course, they always find each other. Ray Bracey, the top 50. A relatively clean race so far. It might get crazy for this final 15-lap stint. Blake Reynolds in control of the field. The green flag is back out. A little bit of a stack up in the outside lane. Daniel Falkingham and Jeff Green got together. David Tooker to the outside around everybody.
4 wide.
They're 4 wide entering 1 around David Tooker. Tooker got a huge jump and was able to bypass Higgins at least, and I think Rexing as well. David Tooker, easily the biggest mover early. It's Reynolds with control of the race. Cutlip and Stanley side by side for second. Yoakum up into the outside wall in the back. We stay green through the first lap, but this is going to get even crazier. Now, Zach, that 66 car has not been good at running full song yet. We have to see whether or not Blake Reynolds has that short run base.
I won't say it hasn't been good. I don't know if we've seen it. We're about to learn something, I think.
Ethan Stanley clears by Cutlip. Falkingham working to the outside of Jonathan Cutlip, who's pinned down on the bottom of the racetrack. Falkingham just turned the fastest lap of the race. In fact, I think that's the fastest lap of the entire lobby. That wasn't one that someone ran in the outside wall like Jared Rexing did during practice. So Falkingham extremely quick right now, just behind Ethan Stanley. Zach, it's been a while for Ethan Stanley in terms of winning a Belly Sports Cup Series race since early last season that he has gone to victory lane. A bit of a winless drought for one of the most talented drivers in the field, running second right now and running behind his teammate, but he's going to, I'm sure, battle extremely hard for the win.
I mean, even, at one time we joked about, how automatic it was at the road courses, but even those haven't gone Ethan Stanley's way the last couple of times. Out, we got a car around us. Corey Abbott out of 2. He is back into the inside wall.
Caution out. And I wonder how many guys in the midfield have fresh tires. I tell you what.
He is not happy with somebody. Let's go to the replay machine and see who he is not happy with.
Going to be car 15?
I believe it's car 15.
Looks a little like car 15.
Car 15's going to say 21 should have gone closer to the wall, I bet.
You could say that.
Chad said he was on the bottom. There he is on the bottom.
Let's check him off the bottom.
The corner
and he's not on the bottom.
But he's not on the bottom. He's not. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what race control says about that one. But
looks cut and dry to me, but I thought the last one was cut and dry too. So I don't know.
I know what Corey Abbott thinks about it, for sure.
Trey Holmes down pit road. Those guys that stayed on the racetrack are heading down pit road. Rawls, Chin on back. I thought one of these guys that had come down pit road would come back down for tires again, try to make their way through. I'm guessing the problem is everybody's at full song right now, and it's really tough to pass.
I think that's a significant part of the problem, especially as we get tally 15 is the call from race control. Well, that's a great view of this fence post. That's some of your best work yet. That's some of your best work yet.
Like that, man. And here's the disappearing fence.
Man.
There's the happenings. Yeah. I like it fast.
Yeah. I don't know where we got this one. That's a good one.
These cams were from before they did the rescan of Iowa, and I thought they were good enough, but I guess work to do.
Some of our static shots need just a little bit of work, but that's all right.
Yep.
We'll
I don't
have
use this
some-
very often.
Hey, look. Sometimes you gotta use something to realize, wow, this ain't great.
That's right. Takes forever to go back and check every camera.
It's unequivocally an Iowa Speedway problem and not an us problem that put the camera there. No way.
Yeah, why did they put the catch pits there anyway? Just let them sail
Yeah.
into the grandstand. What's the
Right.
worst that could happen?
Yeah, we're not going fast enough to get those cars up over the wall, right? Nah.
Don't challenge Ryan Priest.
Seventh car. You know, with this banter, you would have thought we were at like 20 cautions like we were last week. Oh, we're back. It's going to be my favorite
right.
camera shot from now on.
Oh boy, Bo just got a field day with that. Yeah.
Last lap. Let's go to that camera.
Last lap.
Get a little pink flash as they fly by on the,
Our
the
tribute
bottom
to
right of the
Fox
screen.
Sports. We're going to that camera.
I
Amazing.
cannot believe, with all of the tire strategy, now that we've had these couple of cautions and got those wave rounds, we have like, how many cars on the lead lap now? Like 29?
31. 31.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that changed a lot of things. Yeah, I guess to finish my point before I got distracted by the Fitz post there, what I was going to say is I think if the tires aren't going to make it that much more helpful to pass guys as knotted up as they are in this pack, you might as well try to save what little bit of track position you can and hopefully stay out of the fray.
Man, these these are some great camera shots from the wonderful folks of the Elite Racing Network.
That one's good. That one's fine. That one's...
Andrew back in.
Maybe we should get back to the TV shots for this restart here.
Yep. We were having a blast. Blake Reynolds is the leader. Ethan Stanley alongside him. Daniel Falkingham has moved up a row. He's now in third to challenge for this win. Blake Reynolds has control. Pace car is out. Green flag back up. Reynolds fires off well. Falkingham has a lane. Rexing down to the inside. Mikulashik down to block. Oh, 3 wide right there between Rexing, Mikulashik, Justin Vandermarl. They are going to sneak out of 2 okay for now. Reynolds to the lead. Falkingham into second, working to the inside of Ethan Stanley, but that 39 so fast on the short runs, he'll clear past Stanley for second. A battle we've seen all season long between Blake Reynolds and Daniel Falkingham continues to rear its head here at Iowa. 4 laps to go. Reynolds and Falkingham into turn 3 with the lead. Falkingham a little clean air on the nose of that 39 car, but he's going to have to get through Blake Reynolds in order to win this race. Can't make any moves. Everybody's running about the same speed right now, and that is as fast as they possibly can. Reynolds able to hold that clean air, use that bottom lane. Falkingham on those 2 right side tires doesn't have quite the same level of grip as Blake Reynolds does. 3 laps of racing to go. Reynolds got a little bit high going through turn 2 that time, but it's not enough for Daniel Falkingham to close in. 2 laps to go this time. It is all Blake Reynolds as he pulls away from Daniel Falkingham. Ethan Stanley holds third over Cutlip and Weeks in 5th. The battle is back here around 10th spot. Jared Rexing, Scott Crump, Trey Eidson sorting it out. Ray Bracey's way out to the outside lane in the back of the field. But off turn 4, Blake Reynolds will look for and see the white flag. 1 lap to go in the Blue Egg 200. Down into turn 1 with a half a second lead. Blake Reynolds can cruise on home from here. He laid back at the start, waited on those tires to come in, and when they finally did, Blake Reynolds was the fastest car here. And off turn 4, Blake Reynolds will win at Iowa, collect his 2nd trophy of the season, and win the Blue Egg 200. We do get the crash coming to the line, and it was a little bit after the line. Looks like everybody crossed the line backwards. Looks like a road course podium. Reynolds up in the front, Ethan Stanley up at the front here.
like you said, second win of the season for Blake Reynolds.
He burns it down here on the front straightaway. Why don't we go ahead and toss it to a short commercial break, and then we can come back and throw in some race interviews.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Detroit, Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
This is Bobby Boland from Tom Boland Ford, and I have huge news for you. Right now, we are offering interest rates as low as 3.99 on most of our used cars. That's right, 3.99 happening right now. And it gets even better. These used vehicles come with the Boland Lifetime Powertrain Warranty, giving you protection for the long haul. This is your chance to save big with incredible rates and shop our wide variety of trucks, vans, SUVs, and cars. Only at Tom Boland Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Yay.
Welcome back to the Blue Egg 200, where we have completed the race and are now talking to third place finisher Ethan Stanley. And Ethan, congrats on the good run. I wanted to ask, how on earth did you manage to make it 95 laps on tires that were melting away that quickly?
I don't know if you saw it, just running a super conservative line right at the bottom of the track. Nobody else seemed to really figure that out. He'd kind of hook it right on the white line and would save a little bit of right front. So I was pretty happy on the long run.
Well, it certainly, you had the long run figured out, but it felt like we got the caution and everybody came down pit road and it got everybody on level footing. And certainly you had speed, but it was just so hard to pass once everybody was on the same tire. It seemed like no matter what you were going to do there, you were pretty much stuck in third.
Yeah, when that caution came out, I was about 10th on the track, but my left sides were still so new that I decided to go for 2. Ended up restarting second, and just it was so hard to restart in the top and keep your position. The guy on the bottom could just get a good run. So happy to come over with third. Decent enough strategy. I didn't really feel like I was there on pace at the start of the race, so pretty happy with my result there.
And Ethan, obviously a good result in the middle of the season transforms your chase opportunities a little bit. Take me through what it's going to take to get up to these top 2 right now, because they are dominating these races in ways that are difficult to solve for the rest of us in the field.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do at this point. I'm just showing up every week, doing my best. Road Atlanta should help out in the points. Hopefully I can run up front there. And I just figured out this new car, new draft model. Just kind of learn the nuances of it. It's great being in the call with those guys too, because they're so good. They got so much knowledge. It's just really good to be a fly on the wall in that conversation.
And before we let you go, who do you have to thank on this third place finish tonight?
Yeah, as always, big shout out to Racecraft Academy having me on for another season. Big shouts to sponsors, Next Level Racing, Apex Gaming PCs, and JD Designs painting the cars, of course. Big shout out to Blake for winning the race. He had a hell of a tire save strategy. He was like 10 seconds ahead of me when he pit. And then just big shout out to you guys up in the booth. I love watching all these back. And just big shout out to Chad and all the admins that run this stuff.
Thanks, Ethan. Congrats on P3. We know you hope you get a little better than that next time, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, hope to see you around.
There's Ethan Stanley. Let's grab second place finisher Daniel Falkingham and move him to this chat. And Daniel, congrats on P2, but we know you had your sights set on that third consecutive win. Take me through the strategy calls to short pit and then take 2 tires at the end that got you back up to second, but ultimately weren't enough to challenge for the win.
Yeah, definitely. Still, I think we came up with a good result considering the strategy we had to go to, because up there at the lead, we were all racing for the lead at the start of that long run between me, Ethan, Gavin. But that was just me just trying to run as hard as I could, or to a certain pace to where I could keep the lead, because I didn't want to give up track position in case we did get yellows. But I knew Blake, he was in the middle of the pack, edge of the top 10, just kind of saving his stuff. So I still even if we were to run that race again, I'd do the same thing. Just try to if I have that lead, I'll run as hard as I need to keep it. But if we have that long run, I knew I was in trouble. And I thought I could still, even though I ran hard, I thought I did enough of my tires where I could one-stop it. But once I got the meatball around lap 125, when the first time I put on the long run, I knew I had to change my strategy to do a 2-stop. So really, the only thing I could have wished I'd done different is to maybe just probably pit immediately right after Blake passed me and just commit to a 2-stop. And that way we maybe could have maybe a bit closer. But yeah, I'd hate we saw that last caution come out on the long run, because I would like to see how close I could have gotten to Blake, because I was running a second a lap faster, a lot of laps when I wasn't in traffic. So we'd like to see if we could have made up the gap there at the end, but I think it was just gonna even out anyway. But yeah, it's a shame we couldn't win again, but we still got second, still lots of good points, and got a lot of bonus points too tonight, so ain't gonna complain too much. It was definitely a fun race to long runs, but that setup being as tight as it was definitely was a killer. But other than that, it was pretty fun.
And of course, now the sights move to next week, where we go to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the World 600. Have the 2 for 2 in the full distance races so far this season. How do you feel about Charlotte next week?
Yeah, well, the thing is about Charlotte is I won't even be able to do the full race next week, because I have other priorities with the eNASCAR College Series. Just the way they have their the way they do the College Series this year is I won't even be able to even do the full distance. Heck, I probably will. If we have a full field, I won't even be able to run, because I'm just not going to take a spot away from someone if there's a full field when I ain't even going to finish the race. So I'm hoping I can at least start the race next week and then just pull off when I need to, and maybe so, because I don't want to have a complete goose egg, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so even next week and probably the week after as the races, I'm going to be taking a big hit with points, because I won't even be able to make the race, or I'm just going to be starting many laps behind, or I might have to pull off. So if you see me next week, I'll probably be pulling off early. But if you don't see me, then now you know, because I won't even be able to run the full race. So that's why these last several weeks it's been big to try to get as many points as I get, because I know I'm going to be losing a lot of points, because there's at least a couple more races I'm going to be missing before the chase starts. So yeah, it's going to be a shame I won't be able to try to go 3 for 3 in the 100% races, but I'm sure it'll be a good time. But at least I'm hoping I can show up and at least make the start. But if not, then it is what it is.
And I usually ask about the playoffs here, but you've been so strong, even with a couple of races missed or even a bad finish or two. It seems like you're pretty well locked in for those playoffs. But take I guess the final thing I'll ask you to shout out your sponsors and stuff. But before I do that, also what are your thoughts when you lead so many laps and then don't get one of those wins that you feel like maybe could have fallen in your lap?
Yeah, it's always not a good feeling, but you gotta really look at the situation, right? Like we had some good pace up front, but that was just me taking advantage of just having the lead. But when you have a long run like that and someone that excels that good on a long run like Blake was, especially taking care of his tires, his right front way better than I was, because like I was up front just trying to just keep the lead. Like I was running harder than I would have liked to, but that was just me just trying to hang on to the lead in case we got a caution to come out. But if you look at it from like an overall race, especially in the second half with how good Blake was on the long run, he definitely was a deserving winner. It was just a miracle I even got back to second. Just the way the strategy kind of flip-flopped for me with me taking 2 tires on that last restart or on the last pit stop, and thankfully getting the 2 good restarts I needed to jump from 4th to 2nd. So it's like even though you lead all those laps, you can feel disappointed, but in me I feel like it's still a successful night considering where I kind of was that second half of the race, having to switch up my strategies a little bit and whatnot. But yeah, overall, even though we didn't get the win, I'm still happy with the finish we got. Still happy we get a lot of points we got as well.
And before we let you go, any shout outs for us here tonight?
Yeah, just shout Chad for putting the league on. Shout out to Belly Up Sports for sponsoring the series. Shout out to Blake on the win. Shout out to all the boys as well. Stanley, John, Paul, Garrison, and Chin, and all the other guys as well. Appreciate them. Shout out to you guys broadcasting, and shout out to everyone watching. Hopefully it was a good race. Put on a good show for all y'all.
Thanks, Daniel. Congrats on P2. We'll see you next week, maybe.
Yeah, right now it's a hard maybe, but we'll see. At least if we can make it, we're gonna at least start the race, but we won't be able to finish it. But we'll see what happens. It's a great schedule I got on Wednesdays for the time being. But once the chase starts, we should be good to go. But yeah, hopefully we get at least start next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Daniel.
All right, thanks, David.
Now let's grab race winner Blake Reynolds and talk to him for the second time this season. And Blake, it's been a good season for you, but it seemed like you had the strategy nailed down there at the end of this race. Take me through the decision-making process to lay off at the early part of the race, because we called it out early and followed you all the way through the field to the lead and right in control of the race.
Yeah, feels nice to win a race when you're a long-run car, doesn't it? Usually you just, especially when these cautions come at the end, you just get screwed over by the guys who are just more aggressive, or, were, doing way more laps at full pace than I was. So feels good to win. Second one for the season. So I guess you guys caught on to that pretty early. I know Nate in front of me was doing it way harder than I was, and I was like, all right, this is too much. So I tried to get around him. Garrison was right behind me. He was doing it too. I didn't expect it to go green, really. I was just kind of doing it just to try it and hope it would go green, and it actually did. And we got several green flag pit stops from everybody, so it's really cool from the elite field today. And yeah, I figured it out. I like the tighter race cars. This setup, every time we go here, is so tight. So I just knew, like, okay, I got this master cylinders I like. I want a brake bias I like. I'm just gonna lift at this point and brake, because in practice, I did 45 laps at full pace and I blew a tire. And apparently someone else did like 35 laps and they blew a tire. So I'm like, this is not good. So that was my strategy from the get-go, is I'm just gonna run my pace. Do not burn right front.
And you touched on it, obviously had the long run car, but then you did get that caution. We didn't know for sure what kind of short pace speed you had, but we knew we were going to find out once you were restarting in front of the field. How did you feel going into that final set of restarts?
I did not feel good, because I knew I took 4 and filled it up, because I'm like, I have not experienced any other handling. I'm not going to do 2 tires. I'm not going to half fill it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do, because I had the gap of lap cars to be able to do whatever strategy I wanted without getting jumped. And then I saw Balkingham and Stanley, they took 2. I figured they would. They were a little further back, but they also had pressure left sides than I did. So, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get jumped here, because these guys were on it earlier. So, luckily, I picked the right speed entering turn 1. They didn't really get to my left or right side, and I just throttled through turn 2. I lifted a little early for 3 and just got through it. I'm like, okay, this feels pretty easy. And as long as I just stay in front of, dirty air in these cars, you know how it is. I just got to stay in front of the guy behind me and they won't pass me, especially when the track's all rubbered up and cold like it is at the end there.
And obviously, Blake, with a win, you're in really strong chance to make the chase. And, at this point, do you look forward and try to find a way, find out which tracks are coming up, or you just take this thing 1 week at a time and plan to be there when it comes championship time to go for 3 in a row?
I'm taking it race at a time right now. I didn't expect it, but I ran the Road to Pro Coke Series Daytona race for fun, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it every week. So I decided to run that on Tuesdays, and unfortunately on Monday, that's when I do pack tests with my team. So unfortunately, I've had kind of cut off the Grand National Series from my slate, but it is nice to cut my chops up here in the Cup Series with all the competition.
And before we let go, who do you have to thank on this win tonight?
That'd be the excellent team at Channel 199 Sim Racing and awesome sponsors. Tonight we had Drink Machine Works on the hood. That's my personal sponsor. Let's see, Track Race Simulation, Racecraft Academy. And you guys for putting this on, or the broadcast. I'm sure it'll be an excellent watch back. Chad and his admin team for putting this on. I heard Chad was a little reckless tonight.
Just a little.
We'll see how that goes. And I heard some other people just had some trouble. So, that's I'm looking forward to the full length Coke 600 next week. Is that sponsored? Do we call that a Coke 600 here?
We call it the
World 600.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not like the Belly Up 600 or something.
It's the World 600.
It can be for the right price. It can be the Blake Reynolds World 600.
Well, you know, Chad has paid me quite a bit. I probably could afford that if I really.
You might be able to give him a kickback. Or, something to think about.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Okay.
I think that's it. You guys are awesome. What you do. I like watching it back on the next morning of whenever I get to work and I'm bored.
Well, thanks, Blake, and congrats on the win and your second win of the season. And we look forward to seeing if you can't defend the double titles.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll see y'all.
See ya. And Zach, with that was the Blue Egg 200 from Iowa. A very fun race with the long green flag run that I wish could have gotten all the way to the end, but overall, I'm quite satisfied.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It was going to be really interesting to see how those strategies played out, if anybody was going to be able to knock Blake Reynolds off the top there. But as it turned out, he gets the win, even with the late caution. And now we set our sights on that crown jewel next week.
That's right. And I do want to give one final shout out to Jeff Green for the P7. I don't know when his last top 10 was. We covered his last podium. Fantastic run from the 2000 Busch Series champ. So, you guys have seen the running order on the screen as we've gone through. So we won't go over that. We will send you guys off tonight and remind you to join us back next week, 1 hour earlier for the World 600. And we'll see you then. Have a good night.